Welcome back, everyone, to episode 8 of Tommy's Corner. I'm going to be doing another Letterboxd breakdown and recap of things I've been watching and just kind of just talking, letting everyone know what's up. And yeah, so starting off, going into my life a little bit, our short film finally debuted, The Weight We Carry, the film that me and Ryan wrote and directed together, which I played the lead character. I don't want to go too far into the actual film because it's been talked about on a lot of the episodes here. Just quickly, if you're new to the show, it is loosely based off my life, and everything that takes place in the woods was how I planned on taking my own life a few years ago. But yeah, I'm very so far the critical success has done pretty well. It's doing a lot better than I thought it was going to do, much better than I think Ryan thought it was going to do. But yeah, I'm very happy so far. I'm happy with everyone that's watched it. To all the people that have reached out to me privately and have told me how this helped them and made them feel empowered about their own eating disorder, their own depression. That is what this film was made for. I can be happy with saying, even if the film didn't do great, if it affected anyone positively, then the film was a success to me and it was a success to Ryan. But going on from that, so yeah, thank you again to everyone who watched it. It was very, very cool to see all these people that wanted to see what we had watched. And yeah, it was really cool to finally get to put something out there that I'd worked on for so long, and it felt like it was part of my everyday life for the last year, probably 2 years now, and yeah, I'm very happy with that. Everyone liked it, and that everyone wanted to listen to us. They wanted to see what we had to, what our story was, and that means a lot to Ryan and I. So yeah, thank you guys so much for that part. Moving on from that, I got my first little bit of school news to give you guys. I got accepted into NYU's filmmaker program, so I started that today. I had a couple assignments to get done, and yeah, I'm very excited. It's really cool. I have a mentor that I get to work with one on one. He's going to help me with my next short film, and it's been really cool getting to go through all these different schools, get to see different school the way that they handle filmmaking and teaching filmmaking. And NYU, of course, NYU itself is such a well documented, well known film program, and to get accepted into their actual filmmaking specialty program was really exciting. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. But besides that, I'm trying to figure out why I can't get my Letterboxd movies that I've done reviews on recently. Where are my films that I've talked about? There we go. Found them. Okay, so starting off, I think I talked about Abigail last night. Last episode. But Abigail, first off, this film had no right being as good as it was. It was an absolute blast, lots of violence, some really good humor, and I really was genuinely shocked on how much I liked it because I did nothing but trash talk it for a couple days, a couple months, and I really thought it was gonna be awful. I went and saw my friend Sam, and we both agreed that it was really well done. The little girl, she was in Matilda as well. She was really good in this. She wasn't really good. She was great, and the whole use of being a vampire in this one and not feeling like it felt like a mix of Fright Night. I'm trying to think of what else it could be. I'm not gonna lie, it's more like Fright Night and a heist movie put together. It was pretty cool. I really, really enjoyed myself. But moving on from that, Monkey Man, a movie that me and Ryan already did a review on. I have it at 3.5 stars, which I didn't think was a bad score for it. I think Dev Patel, for his directorial debut, really killed it, and I'm really excited to see what he does next. I like the fight sequences. I like the Hindu lore and all of that. Those getting to learn more of the history of Hinduism and learning about all the gods. So that was really cool. I think his next one's gonna be a great film, whatever he ends up making. Moving on from that, I went and saw The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, this new Guy Ritchie film starring Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson, Henry Golding, Easy Gonzalez. I mean, a stacked cast, and it's Guy Ritchie, so I mean, we knew it was gonna be a really fun time, and it was. It was exactly that. It was a really, really fun movie. It's not a great movie. I think the villain that they set up, quote unquote, I think he was a little weak, and I think it was more the writing, not the performance. But all the comedy landed for me. The fight sequences were really good. I wish they cut away less from some of the violence, because from Guy Ritchie you're expecting some violence, and that's That's part of the film. It's about killing Nazis. And they cut away in certain scenes, which I think would have been really cool. Like there's a scene Alan Ritchson's character gets his hand on an axe, and it's just a room full of guys in him. And you don't see what happens. You just see the very end where he's just standing there. I know that they're leaving it up to imagination, all that kind of stuff, but I want to see it. I want to see him. I want to see him fight some guys with an axe. But all in all, I think it was a really good film. I know that the main criticism of the film is that sometimes it loses its tone a little bit, and I can agree with that because when you follow Henry Cavill's side of the story, is very what do I say? It's very lighthearted in a way, like it's more violent and comedy. While from the other side, when it's Babs Lusamokin, who plays Mr. Heron, and then Isa Gonzalez's character, it's much more serious. So it's a little going back and forth on this one. I wish they kind of just stuck with the lighthearted side a little bit more. But again, the stories are drastically different that we see, so it makes sense. And I also forgot, hero Phineas Tiffin is in this. Carl Ewers, Alex Pettifer. That's how I always say it. But I really liked this film. I did. I had a really good time, and it was really cool that you get to learn, of course, more about these guys who are pretty much infamous in the war history because what they did was unsanctioned missions. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm excited. I like Guy Ritchie, so of course I'm a little bit of a sucker about that. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what he does next. And I love seeing Henry Cavill and Alan Ritchson because they're two of my favorite actors. And seeing Alan Ritchson next to Henry Cavill and him making Henry Cavill look that small, that man might need to just play Batman for James Gunn's universe. Moving on from that, I have one more film, and then I'm going to actually dive into a film a little bit. The first one I'm going to talk about is Alien. It was just back in theaters, which was awesome to get to see in theaters, especially because the film came out 40 years ago now. No, I think it's 40 something years ago. I'm going to say 40. I think it's 45. But I love Alien. I love Ridley Scott. I love James Cameron, and I love David Fincher, and they all directed an Alien movie. So, Alien. Getting to so when we got into the theater, I was taking my buddy Connor, who I got to go to the movies with. He has never seen Alien, but he knows what the xenomorph is from Mortal Kombat and other games. But it was really cool that before the film started, a lot of the times when we do anniversary things, there's a little segment before the actual movie starts. And it was cool because in this one, it was Fede Alvarez, director of Don't Breathe, Evil Dead remake from 2013. I think it's 2013 or 2016. It's one of the two. And Ridley Scott sat down and talked about Alien and some of the filmmaking tricks he used throughout it. And they also used, then they showed bits and pieces of Alien Romulus, the new one that Fede Alvarez has directed and Ridley Scott's producing. And it was just cool to get to see these drastically different types of filmmakers and different attitudes of people. And they sat down, they just talked, and you could tell Ridley Scott's I won't say grumpy, he's a very stern dude. Doesn't smile a lot, doesn't make a lot of jokes. He genuinely loves the Alien franchise, I think with all of his heart. Because he was so happy to get to talk more about Alien, talk about getting to work on Romulus again. And yeah, I'm a sucker for this movie. I gave it 5 stars. I had it 4.5, but I forgot how good the filmmaking is in this one and how good Sigourney Weaver is, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, Harry Dean Stanton, Ian Holm, Picado, who's my favorite character, who plays Barker. And then, what's his name? Bulgy Badeo? He plays the Xenomorph. And he does a great job, because I think the Xenomorph is the scariest in Alien 1. I do have to I'm going to be watching Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I'm going to be watching Alien Resurrection, Alien Covenant, Prometheus. I'm going to be watching all of them, so I might be different after that. But the first Alien is so scary. The entire film, the score is so perfect. They use the violin. They do the high-strung violin. Oh my god, amazing! And it's such an awesome movie. I think Ridley Scott's direction is perfect. There's sequences. There's a lot of exterior shots of the alien ship when they're walking outside of it in their suits. Shut the fuck up, toilet. I'm doing a podcast. Do you not hear me? Not bad. But it's really cool because you see he explains to make the sets look bigger because they didn't have the budget to make these massive sets. Is that he had his kids wear the suit, wear their own version of the suits to make the things look so much bigger because they're just little kids, which is another version way of like that old school low budget filmmaking where you gotta make things work. And I think Ridley Scott's just, I mean, he's got to be one of the goats. I mean, the dude does nothing but make amazing films. Well, some of you don't like. Oh my God, what are his two films? Now I'm forgetting. Well, some of you don't like The Last Duel, which is ridiculous because that's one of my favorite Ridley Scott films. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the one that I absolutely adore. Why can't I think? Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven. Everyone who dislikes Kingdom of Heaven, you're a loser. I love that movie. Edward Norton, best part of that movie. I will say Napoleon wasn't great. I will say that. But all in all, look at this man's filmography. Blade Runner, like this dude's that guy. I love Ridley. He has a very specific type of filmmaking too, which I think is just it works for him so well. But he's also shown that he can do everything. He's done a Gladiator film. He's done Napoleon biopic. He's done the Alien franchise. Did Martian. Did Kingdom of Heaven. Blade Runner. The Last Duel. The man's just a great director. And yeah, I loved Alien. And getting to see it on the big screen was such like a little kid moment. Because when I first saw the Xenomorph, I thought about being a little kid and watching it in my house, and it was pretty cool to get to do that. Moving on from Alien though, we're going to be talking about something that I think is super exciting that I think everyone needs to check out. So if you didn't know, right now, all the Spider-Man movies are coming out every Monday. So I think this upcoming Monday is going to be The Amazing Spider-Man. The last 3 Mondays prior were Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. Sadly, I can't go see The Amazing Spider-Man 1 because I'm going to the Phillies game with our editor, Colin. Wait, excuse me. But yeah, but the following Monday is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I am going to be seeing, and I'm so excited. Excuse me, Jiminy Crickets. I haven't seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, of course, since I went and saw it in the theaters with my mom and dad, which was the Jiminy Cricket. I got like something stuck in my chest. I'm sorry, that was wrong what I just said. I've talked about this before, but the Amazing Spider-Man duology, however you want to call it, the 2 films, they're the films that made me fall in love with the actual. I've always loved movies, but those are the movies that made me fall in love with filmmaking. Mark Webb took a lot of chances with these movies. He did a lot of practical web slinging, fight sequences, stunts. So I give him a ton of credit for that kind of stuff. He tried out villains that we didn't get to see on screen. I know the Electro doesn't work for everyone. Doesn't really work for me either. But all in all, I think that film is so good. At both of them, I love both of them. I know I'm in the minority on those ones, but I really, I really am excited for me to get to go back into the theaters and watch them for the first time. Um, but yeah, that's going to be Monday, next Monday. Sorry, I was trying to. An editor of ours was texting me. Um, but yeah, sorry, that was a little weird part of the episode. But yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 back in theaters, not this upcoming Monday, the following Monday. This Monday's is Amazing Spider-Man. But last thing I want to talk about before I let you guys go, because I know this is supposed to be the short episodes, is I want to do a little quick review of Civil War. Probably the most um, divisive film that's come out in a long time, and I think it has a right to be divisive. It's about an American Civil War. It was to happen now. Currently, it's sitting at 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, 75 on Metacritic, 75 on Google, and on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score is a 71. So far, the critic consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is that tough and unsettling by design, Civil War is a gripping close-up look at violent uncertainty of life in a nation in chaos. Totally agree. I think Alex Garland knocked this out of the park. I didn't give it as high as I thought I would. When I first left the theater, I was like, oh, I don't know if it's actually that good or like I gave it like a high 80, but the more I've sat with it, the more I've grown to really love the movie. I think Kaylee Spaney was great, Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Mora as Joel, Nick Offerman playing the president, Stephen McKinley as Sammy, Jesse Plemons for his 5-minute sequence. Those characters, those six right there, are absolutely phenomenal. Rob Hardy, who did the cinematography, was absolutely incredible. It was some of the best cinematography so far this year, in my opinion. Has some of the best performances. Every time Kirsten Dunst and Kaylee Spaney talked to each other, it was amazing to watch. They're just both so talented. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Kaylee Spaney is the future of Hollywood. This girl can do nothing wrong right now. She kills it in Civil War. She's fantastic in Priscilla, and I think she's going to be great in Romulus, which I think may shoot her, just skyrocket her. Wagner Moore, of course, was good as Joel. And of course, for those who don't know, the synopsis is: in a dystopian future America, a team of military-embedded journalists races against time to reach Washington, D.C. before the rebel factions descend upon the White House. Which I think the synopsis is kind of weak because, yes, it follows the three journalists of Kaylee Spaney, Kirsten Dunst, and Wagner. I'm just going to call them Joel, Lee, and Jesse. And watching, they're racing against time before, they're not even really rebels. The U.S. has broken up into 3 different colonies. And the Western forces are coming to the White House because Nick Offerman has won for a fourth term as president, which of course we know can't happen. So I think this is what would happen if someone does try that, because it's just not what we don't want. That we don't want someone to just feel like they have power to just keep being president even though they've passed their term. But I think what this film did really well, which I don't know if people dislike or like, what I really like about it is that it doesn't pick a side. These people are just journalists. They're just there to take the wartime photos and to get the interviews they want. And that's the whole point of the movie. There's no sides to this. Everyone is bad in a way. Everyone has their negative sides, which I think was so well done. I know some people are like, oh, like if you're gonna do this, there doesn't need to be a side to everything. War is not a good thing. People talk about a lot of veterans, combat veterans. We'll talk about the average U.S. citizen, the average human being doesn't have the stomach to accept what war truly is. And I think that this movie does a really good job of showing what war actually does. War is violent, war is evil, war is bad, but it has to be done. War is necessary, in my opinion. And I think Alex Garland's direction showed how scary it is, even if you're just watching it. And something really cool that I thought about when I was sitting in the theater, me and my dad talked about it, was the way that the rounds sounded when they're being fired from the firearms. From the M4, the 240, the 50 cals, the pistols, whatever weapon system they're using in the scene. And it's because that they didn't, normally they'll edit over it and add a different firearm sound. He used the actual sound from when they were filming, which is so much louder and so much more explosive because it's a blank, but it's so much louder, so it doesn't feel calming. It actually freaks out the human brain, which was such a good idea because there are so many scenes where like your heart is pounding out of your chest. They do a lot of room clearing in this movie. Really well done sequence where they're following some of the quote unquote rebels, the Western faction, as they fight against the military through like a apartment complex. Really well done scene. You see what happens to either side when they're captured. They interrogate for a little bit, but then they just brutally kill them. And yeah, I think Civil War is a stunning film visually. I was so excited to see that cross the $100 million mark on a $50 million budget, which is the highest budget in A24 history. And for Alex Garland to decide before this movie comes out that he's done directing, he's lost his love for filmmaking, and this is still the movie we got, is incredible. I'm so excited to see what he does next because I know he is writing, I think it's called 28 Years Later with Danny Boyle. So I'm very excited for that. And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything with Civil War. Please go check it out. And if you're military, police, or anything like that, I think you'll really like the realism of the gunfights. They use semi-automatic weapons. There's a sequence where they're clearing a building. I don't want to say anything else about it. But the actual way that they clear the rooms, they use their flashbangs really well. They use movement really well. They use signals. And it's just a really well done sequence. And I think people who know what it's supposed to look like will be very impressed with how well they did it. But yeah, I gave it a 4.5 stars. I actually raised my score from I gave it a half star more than I originally had it at. But yeah, that is Civil War, and I think that's all for this week's episode. So yeah, go check out Abigail, go check out Civil War, go check out Monkey Man. Go watch Alien again. Go watch Aliens. I just rewatched that. I love that movie. But yeah, great franchise. Great movies all around recently. Super excited to see The Fall Guy this weekend, most likely. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, go subscribe to our Patreon. We have a $2, a $5, and a $20 tier. $2 tier, you get to pick any movie you want, and we'll review it on the Patreon page. $5, what was it? Oh yeah, you're a producer on the show, and you still get to pick a movie once a month for us to review. And $20 tier, you actually get to come on the show with us and review any movie of your choosing, which we'll post on the main channel, not on Patreon. Main channel. That's what $20 a month gets you. So please use our Patreon. More money to me and Ryan means better episodes, which means cooler stuff we get to try. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you again for following us on all of our socials. Tommy_Cresta, Ferran12, the_popcorn_podcast, and everything in between. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all later.